Well, that's not actually true.
It's actually not true.
A lot of people think that.
That's a common myth. You know, I've heard that.
Okay, that one actually is true.
And this is Should Have Asked the Tour Guide. Welcome to this week's episode of Should Have Asked a Tour Guide. We are here in Lafayette Park to tell you all about the four horsemen of Lafayette. Okay, none of them are on horses. Four statues on the corner of Lafayette Park here on the north side of the White House.
All right, so here we are in front of the statue of Tadeusz Kościuszko. I know that's a mouthful. I've been struggling with it all day. So he is one of these European leaders that is depicted in each corner of Lafayette Square Park that assisted us in winning the American Revolution. So Mr. Kościuszko, he ended up serving in the Continental Army, and he was an army architect, and he actually helped with the fortifications of Saratoga and West Point. Now, the way that he actually became a fighter for the American Revolution, as a young man, he fell in love with his employer's daughter, tried to elope with her. The employer found out and gave him a thrashing. In fact, beat him within an inch of his life. He was furious, and many people believe that that's why he kind of formed disdain for class distinctions. So he goes off to Paris and of course meets a pretty well-known guy nowadays by the name of Thomas Jefferson. He became friends with Thomas Jefferson while Thomas Jefferson was in Paris, and of course word of the American Revolution had spread all through Europe, and he wanted to be a part of it. So he came on over here, and thanks to him, really without him, we wouldn't have been able to win the revolution. Not just him, but all of the contributions of these other European leaders.
So this statue is of Marshal Jean-Baptiste Donatien de Vermeer Comte Rochambeau, but we're just going to call him Rochambeau for now. So he was an integral part of the French assistance during the American Revolutionary War, which I assume we're going to get more into when we hop over to the Lafayette statue. So I am going to go in a completely different direction. You might have heard the term Rochambeau before, but are considering or thinking of a children's game. So we call it here in the States, there's a bucket.
Oh, we got that on camera. Okay.
I'll leave it in.
Okay.
So we call it here in the States rock, paper, scissors. So how did a children's game get nicknamed after a French Revolutionary War hero? It's probably not. So there are a couple theories, and my personal favorite story is this. So at the end of the American Revolution, the British have surrendered, and in a tent are George Washington, Cornwallis, and Rochambeau. And they play a game of rock, paper, scissors in order to figure out who is going to leave the tent first after the signing of the surrender. This is not true. That is not at all how the surrender went down. Those three guys were not together, and the papers weren't signed in a tent. So that story is remarkably false, as good as it is. Like most of the things I like to talk about on my tours, there is no historic consensus on how this name got nicknamed Rochambeau. The current best theory has been proposed by the folks over at Teaching History. So in the 1930s, the game rock, paper, scissors became popular here in the States, but it's actually a Japanese game. And in the 1930s, we did not have good relations with Japan. So the Children's Bureau, which was a thing in the 30s, was actually just across the street. And they're trying to figure out, a new name for this Japanese hand game, and they look out the window, and here's a statue with 3 syllables in its name, Rochambeau. So maybe that's kind of our best guess. Now, as the leading expert in rock, paper, scissors here at Free Tours by Foot now, did y'all know there is a world championship for rock, paper, scissors that is occasionally televised on Fox Sports Network. So not the type of thing I assumed that you were expecting to learn in today's video.
Be sure to tune in next week where we'll tell you about the 2 other statues on the corners of Lafayette Square with Becca and Rebecca.
Thanks for checking out our videos. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and on Facebook and Twitter. Look below and send us your questions. If you have any questions about DC history or DC tourism, we're happy to answer your questions.